But if you're just getting on, pop into the chat, say hi, say what city you're from. Let us know how your Friday is going. Okay.
Happy Friday.
Does anybody else? Does anyone else see it?
Let's see.
It says that we're live.
live.
Oh,
we
great.
are there.
You see us in the group?
Mason, I do not see you on the live.
Oh. Does anyone else see it?
Hey, Adriana.
Oh, I don't see Mason.
I know I don't see Mason on here either.
Mason, I do not see you.
Maybe Mason can.
We're just gonna wait a minute.
Oh, there she is. There she is. Oh, we just saw you, Mason. So you'll have to re-sign in. There.
I'm gonna turn that off because it's just echoing and time lapsing. Okay.
Let's see. Just wait for signing
to
in.
get back on. Yay!
Yay! So yeah, today
all of Solit on here today, which is super exciting.
Oh, there she is. Let's see. Let's see. Is this gonna work?
I feel like my face is big.
So Mason, I think last time I just saw.
Oh, she says can't get back on.
Oh, she can't. Wait, why not? Should I send her the link again?
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks. I'm going live on Facebook right now. I'm going live with the girls. We need to move the car back.
Okay. Let's see. There she is. Oh, I see. She kind of fades in and out. There she is. I see her now. Do you guys see her? Okay, I see her now. Maybe she's fading in and out. Is that what's happening? Wait, you're popping in now. I see you. Yay!
Yes.
Okay. Hey, everybody. Awesome. Hope everyone's Friday is going so great. So today we're going to be talking about how creativity is key.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially during these times. So let's just dive right in. Let's start with just like a big grounding meditation. So long, deep breathing. Feel your grounding cord dropping into the center of the earth. We'll invite all of your individual guides to be present, all of our guides to be present. And whatever messages feel like flowing through today, we'll just bring it into the space. Yay. And if anybody has any specific questions or intentions around what's going on in their life right now, please feel free to leave that in the chat box. We'd love to be here to support. Yay. Yay, awesome. So yeah, so we're talking about creativity, and creativity is one of the, it's one of the key elements of how to move forward at this time, right? Because, when we're being creative, that means we're kind of mastering chaos. We're like taking that chaotic energy and we're moving it forward. We're deciding like, this is what I want to do with that energy, especially during this time, right? People have so many emotions coming up, and there's just so many unknowns in the mix, right? And it's like, but when you're strong in your creative energy, you're able to like take that energy, mold it, shape it, and fully like move forward.
Mm-hmm. So we want to talk about a little bit we all get like those impulses of inspiration where you get really excited. I'm like, oh my God, that sounds like a great idea. Or, oh, I just had this idea, or I just had this thought. But then what usually happens at the same time, or like quickly right after, there's this like immediate like hesitation or doubt of like, ooh, wait, but then how's it going to work? Or, ooh, what's that going to look like? Or, ooh, I haven't got it all figured out. And that slows down the momentum, right? That's like the resistance that comes up. And it's kind of fun if you see, like, if you're able to notice it and if you're aware of it, you can almost like talk to it. So when those doubts come up or those fears come up, you go, Wait, but is it my job to figure it out? Wait, do I need to know everything before I start? Wait, why are you here? And when you can have that conversation with yourself with those thoughts, it slows down the resistance, and then naturally go, and then you can choose if to follow that inspiration or that desire, right?
Yeah, and a lot of times that creativity or inspiration that's coming through is the way that it's wanting to channel through you of something, new. When there's creativity, there's a newness, right? There's something that maybe hasn't happened before, hasn't been done before. Creativity opens up a lot of ways of play and imagination that opens worlds of possibilities, where it's like maybe it comes up with solutions for something that you care about or something that you're really into. And it's like, so having fun and playing is a really big part that I think that sometimes we can get lost in the realm of being like, oh, well, I need to be practical about this, and I can't really nurture that. That's a dream. That's something that's not really something that can, that can be reality. But truly, that's the way Spirit's trying to feed through and say like, hey, guess what? This wants to come through you, and you get to create this fun, magical thing. And yes, like through you, and it can happen. Like,
that word practical is such a buzzkill. Can I just say? Practical. It's not practical, not realistic. Such a buzzkill.
Yeah, absolutely. And then it's like, if you're not feeling that like excitement energy, like, for instance, like if, let's say you're like creating a book, or let's just use a book because it's kind of easy to understand. Like, let's say you're creating a book, right? It's like, you have to be in love with this book for so long to like really cultivate that creation space. It's like, you have to like master it, love it. And so it's kind of like your inside job to be able to be like, oh, this is really exciting. Oh, this is really interesting. Oh, like I want to do this. And it's like, you have to feel those like little tiny impulses all along the way to be able to like fully craft that thing that you want to create,
So Mason, is the reception really choppy for you? You can't really hear us right now? Give a thumbs up. And you feel like you can't speak because of reception? Right now?
Can't hear us.
She probably can't hear us.
No.
Okay.
But you look gorgeous.
I know. She's a creative inspiration and muse.
So she's here to play. She's just here with her energy, even though she can't speak or hear us.
She's bringing her creative vibes.
Yeah.
Oh, we can hear you.
We can hear you really well.
We can hear you really well.
For me, it sounds like So I don't know the conversation, but I'm happy to be here with you guys.
Yeah. So I feel like this in itself is a really good example of creativity. There's like an unexpected factor, right? There's like surprises. You don't really know everything that's gonna go like that. You don't have like the memo of everything. All you have is like of right now. What's the next thing? What's happening now? What's pulling you now? That's all you have. You don't have like the 10 steps ahead, and you can't plan ahead and have this whole battle plan because it may not go as planned. It may not go the way you think in your brain, right? You literally like follow that breadcrumb. You follow that excitement breadcrumb, that desire breadcrumb, and the next one will show up and you go, ooh, next one, ooh, next one. And it's like an adventure and you just have to go with it. And so when the resistances come up or the annoyances come up or frustrations come up, you notice that you look at it and you go, I see ya. I get it. I understand why you feel that way, but we still get to create. We still get to move forward. We still get to play. And it's like, even the things that you're creating or even the physical things that you're doing are literally just a tool to get you to a certain feeling, to get you to a certain vibration, right? Because at the end, everything that we're doing and creating, all we're actually desiring is that end result feeling, to feel safe, to feel excited, to feel happy, to feel joy, to feel expansive. Like that's actually what we're looking for. So if we lose that in the process, it's almost like you're missing the point, kind of. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say that's part of the point, is not having all the plans and steps laid out, because it opens the doors for new possibility. Just think of the word create for a moment, I'm like, Mason, speak.
No, Mason.
I'm like hearing words and I'm like, me. I just feel like what's relevant, energy-wise at least right now, is that sometimes that it doesn't make sense. And what I want to say about that is like, that's been my life since the quarantine, is that I've had these inspirations just randomly, like doing the dishes. Like I need to go now to Best Buy and buy this. And it's just like, all of a sudden I have this whole setup. I don't know what I'm doing with it. But then all of a sudden it's like, I have an online course that's happening, or I'm like starting a blog, or I'm doing all this stuff. But it didn't always make sense, right? Like it didn't like make logical sense. There was no steps that made like in this human existence. It didn't like, I didn't understand it, but I also said yes. And I think that was the really important part. And then it like
comes up with solutions for something that you care about, or something.
I don't know. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I don't know.
We can hear you.
We can hear you. And that's the beauty of it, Mason, you know, because it's not always, again, it's not that roadmap that's full planned out and here's the details and this is why it's going to happen. That inspiration is divine, like creativity flowing through, where it's not always going to make sense. But when you follow it and you follow through on those inspirations, you realize the divine guidance that it leads to. You realize the fruit that's born from it. You realize that these dreams and these things can really become a reality. And it's so huge. And you're not going to know that on every step of the way, but that's the fun part. It's like create, right? Creativity, it's something new. It's something that is happening and transpiring through you in a new way. And finding your creativity, even how you said, Mason, like doing the dishes, like there's new ways. Like I was kind of meditating on that the other day, of finding creative ways where in the quarantine, in cleaning up, versus I had this realization a long time ago when I'm cleaning up the messes and stuff of the day, instead of being stressed out about it, I go into that creative mode of saying, wow, these are actually all these memories that we created during the day. And so it's like shifting the perspective. You can get creative, and even things that are formed and are solid, are already, you know, kind of established and have these roadmaps, you can actually bring creativity into it to transform it in a whole new way.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that cleaning piece. Like actually, like I see it as a meditation for me, and I'm just like, oh, like I just imagine like all the little kids on the planet like getting fed, and like everything that needs to go wherever it's going. Like while I'm cleaning, like it's not this like pointless act. There's like a lot of meaning behind it because I'm adding like my visualization to it, you know. And the other piece I want to say about creativity is like, there's no way to make a mistake, right? And I think that's like, people are so afraid of like failing or making a mistake or not looking perfect or like whatever that is. But like, sometimes you just have to take that first step and you just move through it. And then you realize like, oh, that was so easy. Like, why did I make such a big deal out of that? Why did I think that was going to take so much time or whatever? You know, it's like, once you move through something enough times, you start to realize like, oh, like it's not that big of a deal. And then that gives you space to go to that next level, you know. But it's like, if you never just take the first step, it's always going to be something imagined. And so there's always some kind of fear in it of like, oh my God, like, is this going to, you know, and that energy is kind of like, that's also those micro self-doubts. You're building up all this energy. It hasn't even happened yet, and you think it's going to be this big scary thing, but really it's like, it's so fun, it's so easy, it's so light, and once you do it, it's done, you know.
Yeah, and I just wanted to add on that creativity piece of how you said in creativity there's no mistakes. And even when we make something that we think is a mistake, sometimes that actually leads to a whole new realization or understanding. You're saying like, well, you know, it wasn't what I expected, but now it's taking me on this whole other realm where that's even better than I thought it was going to be. Right. So there really is no mistakes in the creativity. I love that.
What just popped in was like this example of like science. A lot of the times when things are discovered, it's a mistake. Like an accident happens. You're not expecting it. You're researching this thing. You're following this thing. I'm going to cure cancer, whatever. And you find out a cure for something else. You know, you go, what is this? Oh, this is a new antidote. Oh, this is a new antibody. I had no idea. And it becomes this whole new thing, right? And usually they're mistakes at the moment, or they're discoveries or accidents that you weren't expecting, right? So it's like, you just don't know. And the other thing is, like when we think about failure or making a mistake, which is a lot of what we, especially in the Western world, when we live in this like go, get stuff done, tangible results, like numbers, like, right? It's like, it's really just a perspective change where like in the spirit world, failure and mistakes don't exist, right? And it's because the only goal in life from the spirit's perspective is growth and learning. So if your only goal, if you're growing and you're learning and you're expanding, you're succeeding in life, right? Because you're always expanding. And Cosmos, just by its nature, is always expanding, and you are part of Cosmos. So you can't not expand. You can't not learn. You can't, you know what I mean? You can be a cooperative component to the learning. You can be a cooperative component to the growing, or you can be in resistant to it and work against it. That's your choice. But no matter what you're growing, no matter what you're creating, whether you know it or not. So in the bigger essence, you can't ever really make a mistake, right? Because you're always growing, you're always expanding. So if you can fully tap into that part and really hold that and go, oh wait, if that's the truth, if that's real, then all I can do is learn. So you can always fail forward is the way I like to think about it. You always make a mistake or whatever, but you're always going forward, and you can always learn something from it, and therefore you can never quote fail.
Absolutely.
So beautiful.
Yeah, the other, I love that Momo brought in that science piece, because it's mirrored in there in several different ways, so my undergrad's in biochem, and when you study chemistry, when a chemical reaction has to happen, there's all this energetic momentum that has to happen first, and then you get to the activation phase. So sometimes it's you're building something and you're oh my gosh, this is expending so much energy. But then once you get over the hump, the activation energy, boom, it's oh, everything's so easy. It just starts to slide. And so, if you're out there and you're oh, I kind of want to start my own business, I'm thinking about writing a blog, I sort of want to start my own website and this or whatever, it's just do it, because it's think about your life 5 years down the road or 10 years down the road. If you don't start somewhere, it's 5 years down, you're going to have the same life you have right now. So it's creativity is that key to help you build, mold, shift, create your reality in your life in a new way, if that's what you want, and I to me, it's spirit always wants to create something new, so spirit always wants to expand, always wants to experience something new. So if you're in this group, I'm just assuming you're wanting to create and cultivate and continue to move forward, right?
Yeah, and I'm getting you can even think about creativity as desire in motion, right? It's literally just movement. So you can't make a mistake in movement. When, for example, when you dance, that's a move. Dance is really just a fancy word for moving, moving your body, right? So same thing. Creativity is just moving your desire, moving that forward, moving in whichever direction you want. You can't really make a mistake at dancing. You can't really do the wrong move. You might look funny, you might whatever, but you're still moving. And so it's the same thing with creativity. It's you're bringing that desire into motion. You're following the motion. You're following that movement, whichever way it flows, you're following it, and that's all you're doing. It takes out that scary factor. It takes out that seriousness. It's a lot more playful than you think,
Yeah. And then you get that fine tuning piece, it's you play, you go into it, you're oh, that felt scary, this felt good. So then you start to move towards the feel good feelings, it's you just keep fine tuning and being okay, well, next time, what can I do to tweak the thing, the energy field or whatever, so that it feels even more awesome? And then you'll prepare yourself and prep yourself to get into that phase, right? And I think there's also, Mason, is she?
I don't know. If I had to guess, this is really exercising my ability to read energy. I little nugget is that, and I don't know if you guys have said this or not, but is being able to find play in the mystery, being able to be really, for me, it's really fun not knowing. And I remember when it wasn't, because I used to want to control things, but you're not allowing yourself to expand when you're trying to control, right? So when you really view it as just oh, this is so fun, I wonder where this is going, this is going to be so exciting, and then you're always creating out of a place of joy, right? You're in heart space when you do that, and then naturally everything just evolves really quickly. And that's I think why working through creativity, that's when you magnetize everything, because you're so having so much fun while you're creating it in the first place.
Mm-hmm. I love how she's right on point. She can't even hear us.
Was that part of the conversation?
Right on point, baby.
Always. So good.
And the tiny decisions Okay, so for instance, I have had clients where it's like, okay, they want to build their business, they want to create something, and then someone gives them advice and they're like, oh, well, you'll make this much money if you do it in this way, right? But the thing is that your creativity is your unique soul expression through source. That means like your business, your content, everything has to be written from your unique energy field. Like, and I've seen it so many times, like when you try to follow somebody else's system or somebody else's process, you know, it's like it almost jams up your energy field because it's like these like multiple directions. But you know, source is like, dude, I gave you direction. You know, like you have your own direction in here. And when you peel away the layers and you really start to listen to that, you start to make your decisions from, okay, is this going to create like joy? You know, like what are going to be like the win-win-win factors from this decision? And when you create from that heart space, then it's like it just feels really good because essentially you're creating beauty and harmony for everyone around you. And when you're doing that, you know you're moving in the right direction, right? Because it's like you're making everyone feel good, including yourself. So it's like then you have to be moving in the right direction.
Absolutely. And there's like that trust factor, you know, like it comes down to trusting yourself, trusting the messages that you're getting in your soul, trusting your ideas, trusting that inspiration, trusting that feeling of desire that's pulling you, right? And so it's like when you're like exactly what Sam was talking about, it has to come through you. It has to be in your expression. It has to be in alignment with your soul. It has to be aligned to what you're feeling, right? You can't really fake it. You can, but then it doesn't actually work. And that's where people go, oh, I'm not good at it, whatever, which actually isn't true. It's just you need to, you know, tune into your deeper soul and listen to that. And it's like, that's a muscle you can build. That's literally just, we all have intuition. We all have a soul. We all came here as spirit in the human form. We're all made by the same things. We're not like us four. We're not special. We're just, we've been honing that for a long time. We've been focusing on that, and we've been working out our muscles really, really strong, right? So it's just a muscle. And in the beginning, it might feel like you're making it up. I remember in the beginning, someone would say, oh, just ask your soul. I'm like, I don't even know what that means. Or like, you know, quiet your mind and tune in. What do you hear? And I'm like, I hear my own voice, you know, and I don't know if it's real or if I'm making it up. And that's how it starts. But then eventually it starts to become more familiar, like a friend. You start talking to someone and you recognize their voice. You recognize their energy. You recognize the messages that they're telling you. It's the same thing with your soul. You have to befriend your soul. And once you start recognizing it, you can hear the messages clearer. You can understand the guidance a little bit more. It talks to you like you, because it is you. They give you the messages the way it'll most make sense to you, because it is you. Yeah,
your connection with your soul is like the greatest joy you can ever have, right? And like that's how, you know, because there's harmony, right? There's harmony with your physical body, your emotional body, your spiritual body. And when there's that synchronization, like everything is aligned and there's a spark that flows through your energy field that says, oh, yeah, this is it. This is right, you know? And so that's part of that fine tuning process of like how you step into that, right? And so, you know, us as Soulit, it's not necessarily that we're like teaching you new concepts of anything, where it's like we're delayering programs and agendas that like aren't for your highest truth, and supporting you and stepping into like your unique soul signature, because you are a unique sound vibration. You're a unique soul signature, which means like when your frequency is at your highest, naturally the people around you will start to raise their vibration, because it's just like, it's inevitable. It just happens, right? So that's kind of like our goal together, right? It's like we're giving you keys that your spirit already knows and just reminding you of how to listen to that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's all. It's so fun being on here with everyone.
I know, it's so great.
These are like our conversations that we all get to have, the four of us, just on the regular. So it's nice to share it with everyone.
Totally. So, wrap up, guys?
Yeah, so anyway, so if you guys have any specific topics or areas that you guys want to learn more about, please feel free to post in the comments so we get to, you know, bring solutions to you that would be appropriate for you, so aligned to you. Let us know. And next Thursday, we actually have this Creativity is Key session. It's gaining momentum in creativity and prosperity. And it's just a $5 class. So it's incredible and it's amazing. We've had people that said they had a headache for over 3 weeks that went away during the class. We had someone else that said, it was her first night just sleeping all through the night. But this one's focused more on creativity and prosperity. So if you have any specific creativity or prosperity intentions, like this will be really great for that. So
yay! You'll be getting a full healing session from all of us. We'll all be there. We'll all be tuning in. Just by plugging yourself in, you'll be plugged into a high vibrating vortex. So things will start shifting on its own. And then we'll be doing it in a group. So it'll be a whole bunch of people tuned in with you. So that there's a power in a group session, in that collective working together and shifting things together. So if there's parts that you don't have or someone else doesn't have, it'll almost join in and integrate together, and it'll just uplift everyone with more easy. So
yeah. The way I like to paint that picture is when we go into the forest, we think the trees are separate, but underneath, the roots are all intertwined. So they're actually all connecting and communicating with each other. So that's the same with us as people. There's actually some things you can only address in group, and it's really hard to address in one-on-one sessions. I remember when I used to do my own private groups, I had someone with hip pain that she had over 10 years just completely go away. Even though she had one-on-one sessions with me, it was her $15 group session that cleared it. So, So if you expect miracles will happen, and we would just love for you to join us. And thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be here again next Friday at 11:11, and so much love.
Yeah, we love you.
Ciao.